She's in her 22nd year. Brenda Freeze has done a phenomenal job. Over 600 wins, 564 of those have been at the helm for the Terps.
Meeting number 9 between these two teams. UConn leads the all-time series 7-1. The Terps took the most recent meeting and we're underway.
Maryland starts out in man-to-man defense, but you see they like to switch. They can switch 1 to 5.
Nika Mule gets the Huskies started.
Nika Mule, I tell you what, you've got to find her early. She leads the team with 11 assists in the 2 games that UConn has played, but she can stroke the shots from the outside.
Paige Bueckers glides in and forces a turnover.
Let's take a look. UConn, what they like to do is get 10 toes down in the paint and get those paint threes and kick it out to the corner. And if you're Maryland, you've got to get there sooner. But if you're UConn, you love how you come out of the gates for this game. Both teams, as we said, coming off losses. Who has the grit and the execution in this one to take home the dub?
An illegal screen set by Aaliyah Edwards. Pull-up 3 is off the heel, and the rebound to Aubrey Griffin, who gets the start for UConn.
Griffin is starting in place of Azzi Fudd.
There's Paige Bueckers.
Well, Paige Bueckers, what she has been able to do is be the initiator. She said to us today after practice, I haven't played basketball in 500 days or more, and this is my 3rd game back. And it feels great to be back on the floor, and you can see the joy that Paige Bueckers is playing with and the intentionality right there, the change of direction and the length that she possesses allows for her to rise and fire on that second line of defense and smooch it off the window. Well, they have to communicate on plays like that one.
As Bueckers has started strong for the first 7. There she is, Shakia Brown-Turner. She's unfazed. This is the third time in her career that she's faced Connecticut.
Right, and I was waiting on the timing of that shot to see if she's going to knock it home because I brought her name up. But she's a transfer from NC State, and the last time she faced UConn, she hit the buzzer beater to force an overtime game in an Elite 8 situation. So she is familiar with these surroundings and STORRS.
Aubrey Griffin with the pursuit of the basketball in the bucket.
And that's the extra activity that Griffin gives UConn. In the absence of Azzi Fudd, they're going to need to maximize their possessions.
Another deflection by UConn.
Gino Auriemma told us, he said figuring rotations is going to be the biggest challenge for this team without Azzi on the floor.
Cheyenne Sellers. Rebounding, also an emphasis by both these coaches. Maryland gets an extra opportunity. They'll get a 3rd. Lavender Briggs cash.
Lavender Briggs really trying to pick up her offensive production. The last couple of games just hasn't really been there. Transfer out of Florida in her 2nd season. We take a look right here. The extra possession, because of the dogged effort on the offensive boards, leads to that triple for Maryland.
Edwards doubled, and Edwards just forced her way through that for the bucket. May Alexander gets it inside. Ali Kubak. Kubak off the window.
Gino Auriemma, who recruited me back in the day, said that she was a mini me, and I like that. I was like, she's a tough player.
Aubrey Griffin.
Aubrey Griffin with that nice look right there at the elbow, but you got to get back defensively because Maryland's ready to fire it.
Mule running the floor now. Nika Mule. Samuels. Offensive rebound to Griffin. Ducharme is fouled. So the junior, Ducharme, at the line. And this all goes back to the original point that Gino Auriemma brought up as Bueckers is sorting out her right eye. Just because Paige Bueckers is back, it can't change the way his team plays.
Absolutely, and you have to know that Paige Bueckers is hungry to be back on the floor, and she's been the initiator, and that's what Gino Auriemma said was different when they played NC State. But she had the ball a lot, And Nika Mule was lost because her role was taken away in that regard.
Shot clock off. Sellers kicks to the corner. That was rejected. With 7 left, Ducharme.
High hands, active feet on closeouts. Really impactful defense early on in this game by the home team.
4 blocks on the quarter for the Huskies. Maryland trying to get it in. Mule got a hand on it. Cheyenne Sellers gives Maryland a huge 3 to close the quarter.
And that was a huge bucket. It was ranked number 1 in the poll after that. So 3 out of 10 from 3. Way too many shots going up from the outside. Brenda Free says we haven't been to the free throw line. That is indicative of those shots.
They get to the lane, and Cheyenne Sellers counted in the foul.
Love to see that kind of execution out of a timeout if you're a coach.
Cheyenne Sellers evening things up with 6 for the Terrapins.
Job there by Cheyenne Sellers to stay connected defensively, disallowing a touch on that dribble handoff action.
Fade pass to Aaliyah Edwards from Samuels.
A great lob pass. There was no help available on the weak side, so that was the proper placement.
Bueckers now heads to the table, check back in. Into Sellers, rejected by Griffin. But on the putback, it goes for Brown-Turner.
Griffin just had lasers in terms of her timing on that block.
Another stop by the Terps and Samuels off.
Patience will serve Maryland well on this possession. Just try to massage the defense down and then work it to the second or third side for an easy look. But UConn is ravenous with their energy.
Renee Alexander in her 6th season of college basketball.
That ball got to 3 different sides on that possession. That's why they got that bucket.
Caden Samuels. She's a Maryland kid. What do you like about her?
I like everything about her. I mean, Gino Ariema said that she does about 2 out of 10 things correctly. She can shoot the leather off the ball is one thing, and she's fearless, which is the second thing, which is another reason why I like that he compared me to her. But he said, you know, she's so young. She has a tremendous upside, but she has just the ability to compete at a high level. And she's so smart with her decisions as well on both sides of the floor. We've already seen her with a couple of blocks.
Sellers. Oh, Cheyenne Sellers is sensational. How'd she get that to go?
Her mom as well. There's a documented story about her mom having MS. Now, Cheyenne has so much compassion for her mom in those moments, and it's a really beautiful story if you ever look that up.
Really is. Mom Kim got Cheyenne inspired to play basketball at an early age.
Yes.
It wasn't Dad at first. Jumper's good for Masonis. Faith Masonis.
You see Maryland now settling into what they want to do on the offense again. Early on, it wasn't the case.
Arnold to Edwards.
Great connection inside that high-low. That's basic basketball, old school, if you will, taking it down into the paint.
Briggs heaves. Edwards battles for it and gets it. Edwards now pulls and connects.
If you're Maryland, you can't wait to contest that shot. Albeit Edwards missed one early on, but you've got to close out, especially if you're in a zone and you're that middle player, you got to push up.
Sonis a little off. Sellers and Bueckers battling to the deck. That's the intensity of this one, two of the best players in the country. Intentional foul has been called on Paige Bueckers for pulling Sellers down to the deck.
Initially, we didn't see that. It just looked like a hustle for the basketball, but when we saw that replay, you could see that last little pull over this way on Sellers' arm and pulling her down to the floor.
Sellers has 10.
see the Iverson action here by Maryland, trying to bring Sellers over the top of the two players who were stationed at the elbow extended. You can get into a pick and roll, you can screen opposite off of that, a lot of different variations of that balance of the floor. And zone again by Maryland, a 2-3.
Ashlyn Shade is checked in for Connecticut. They get it downstairs with Edwards delivering the pass this time to Ice Brady.
I love that look, and that's what UConn was working on today in practice. They were working on taking cuts. You roll and replace an area in the zone. You cut behind the line, and that's what they did to perfection on that possession.
Briggs deflected. And here comes Brady and the Huskies.
Smart decision to pull that back out.
Edwards is fouled. As Masonis comes out with the foul. Just her first. Leah Edwards steps to the line. Gino Auriemma made his players watch the whole NC State game back from Sunday on Tuesday, close to 2 hours in the film room.
Yeah. A couple things live, women and men, but not the film. Not the film.
What's the longest you were ever sitting in a film room?
Oh, probably a little longer than 2 hours. And that was on a win. So,
whoa!
No, I'm just kidding.
Brown Turner with a push-off.
And getting right back in front. That's what you want to do. Get to where the ball handler is going and cut them off.
Shade with the left hand, the freshman Ashlyn Shade.
Smooth move by the youngster. Take a look, the rip and go, attacking the hip of Cheyenne Sellers, and then also having the smooth activity to the rim against the second line of defense that rotated over but still gave up space to attack the basket.
The #1 high school player from the state of Indiana taking her talents to STORRS, and Huskies on an 11-2 run with Azzi Fudd out again tonight with a knee injury. It means that Gino Auriemma is calling on some of his freshmen to rise to the occasion.
And they have to. Shade didn't play in that game against NC State. She played about 15 minutes in their first game out of the gates.
Kubek and the Terrapins turn it over. Here's Bueckers. Bueckers, pass Sellers, and the foul.
Take a look right here. Paige Bueckers shoots the gap, gets her hands into the passing lane, and then it's a foot fight and a foot race to the other side. Cheyenne Sellers tried to hold up and not make the contact, but flipped her with her hip.
That is the third foul on Cheyenne Sellers.
And after hearing the news of Jakia Brown-Turner picking up her second, now Sellers with 3 here in the second quarter.
So
breaking moves.
Something to monitor now. Brenda Fries has a dilemma. 10 straight points for the Huskies. Brown-Turner stays on the floor with the 2 fouls. Bueckers pulls it down. Paige Bueckers is a superstar. Timeout, Maryland. Listen to Gampel.
Well, the defense has turned into magnificent opportunities for UConn to score the basketball. They have shut off the gaps, and that is something that Gino Auriemma said that we must do that in this game because we did not do that against NC State.
Brown-Turner down to Kubek, and a foul.
So in order to fix that, you got to keep a body on, maintain your contact, and slide your feet, right? It's like defensive stance with contact.
Successful 4 years at NC State. She's from Oxon Hill, Maryland. Decides to cap off her college career at home.
Still zoned by Maryland defensively.
Griffin a little bit long. Brady Bodies to the deck again.
Here's the Iverson action. See the wheel action. The guards going through off the post at the elbows, and now you can work a two-man game or an ISO.
And Brady stepped in. Bueckers has it. Paige Bueckers. Bueckers motors to the lane and hits. Paige Bueckers with 11.
Solid skill set by Paige Bueckers, who has loved the game for so long, has waited to play over 564 days. This season is here now.
Feedback a little bit long. Here comes Mule. Shade. Ashton Shade. Welcome to STORRS. A 20-4 scoring run by Connecticut. Maryland without a made field goal in the last 5 minutes. Massonis. And we get a whistle.
What does Coach Prime say? Win. Both of these teams here in STORRS want to win. And they have been showing the physical play to prove it. And Paige Bueckers said, hey, we need to improve our discipline and killing our guys in our practice guys.
Paige Bueckers with 14 first half points, making a statement. Shot clock off. Brown Turner. With 8 seconds left, here comes Bueckers. She's had the huge aim. Paige Bueckers, the National Player of the Year candidate, will go the line.
There's a problem for Maryland. But Paige Bueckers right here rises. Look at the moon ball and the spin on that basketball. And then right here, getting downhill, drawing contact.
What adjustment can Maryland make at the half?
And you have to play defense without fouling, number one, because Sellers needs to be on the floor for Maryland.
15 first half points for Paige Bueckers as Massonis, and that will take us to the break.
So she was on fire, and in turn, Connecticut was as well.
Connecticut closing the first half on a 20-2 run. Cheyenne Sellers has 3 fouls, something to monitor as the second half begins. Jakia Brown-Turner, Edwards wouldn't let her have it.
That's what I was talking about, jamming up that painted area and not giving any free space in there.
Bueckers gets it away.
That's why you can't get up in the air and make passing decisions. You have to know what you're doing with the ball before you leave your feet.
Jakia Brown-Turner unafraid.
That lefty jumper is smooth and pure from Brown-Turner. They're going to need that extra offense. They're going to need at least 3 or 4 players to score in double figures for Maryland. Sticking with that zone.
Bueckers left open. Battle for the rebound. It belongs to Griffin. Bueckers with the right hand.
Easy money right there. Drifting. Worked well that time for the Terps.
Cheyenne Sellers also named to the Nancy Lieberman Award watch list, which recognizes the top point guard in women's college basketball.
See what Maryland does here defensively on the last possession. UConn was setting a screen on that back line for a skip pass. This time they take it right to the rim.
KK Arnold, the freshman.
I love her game. She plays with so much energy. And we saw that today in practice.
That was Maryland's goal. Players told us at shoot-around, we have to make it hard for them. Edwards, a freight train. Aaliyah Edwards with a dozen.
She's just so strong. Was a third-team All-American last year, preseason All-Big East. Again this year. She's on the Katrina McClain watch list.
Brown-Turner a little off. Offensive rebound to Briggs. Briggs with a feed. Bueckers! Reservation denied.
Well, it has been the defensive intensity by UConn tonight. Paige Bueckers
Poking the bear?
You can't do that. Don't poke the bear, don't shake the tree with the beehive in it. Because you're going to be running for your life, man.
Arnold to Bueckers. Paige Bueckers with 19 points.
It's been easy offense from their defensive pressure. It has created this gap in the score now for UConn.
And now Bueckers with the steal. Now she delivers it to Griffin. It is all Connecticut right now in STORRS. Gampel on fire.
We'll see what's going on with her by next week, but it's just unfathomable.
Griffin has been in every passing lane. They hang on to it though. Jakia Brown-Turner. Nice offensive rebound and a foul.
To sustain the execution, and Brenda Free said as much as well.
They both said that the losses to NC State for UConn, to South Carolina for Maryland, in August, September, October,
players love, right? Game after game, not a whole week-long practice. They want game after game, and associate head coach for Maryland, Karen Blair, said that to us as well this morning.
3 on the shot clock here. Oh, what a finish for KK Arnold.
KK Arnold plays with no fear, and Gino Auriemma said that too. He said sometimes...
Sellers. Told you about it earlier that her mom, Kim, lied to a local youth league that was taking 5-year-olds. Cheyenne was around 3-4 years old. And Kim said, yep, she's 5 years old. She's ready to play in this league.
So I said my kids back go the other way. A lot of busy thumbs today with LSU, but I tell you what, it's going to be such an exciting college basketball season on the women's side for sure, and I can't wait to watch Caitlin Clark tonight.
In and out for Brown-Turner. Extra chance here for the Terps. They're fighting. Brown-Turner.
Factoring in her physical play inside and staying persistent with her effort.
Physicality again underneath.
Just trying to find the right pieces, and he said usually there are 4 or 5 games to figure that out. 5 with Rebecca Lobo's group going undefeated to win the first title here. And he said those 4 years between 1981 and 1985 that he spent with Debbie Ryan on the sidelines, he said that was the most impactful time of his career.
Pressure returns for Maryland. To the corner at Shade. The freshman has stepped up. Ashlyn Shade.
No shade on that one, because this young lady has been phenomenal and fearless with her production here this evening.
Shot clock off. Cheyenne Sellers trying to find it. A freshman Arnold glued on her. Sellers just throwing it up there. Battle for with 1 second left to beat the buzzer. And that'll do it for quarter number 3. Can Maryland chop into this lead? Sellers has been captain check. Bueckers guarding her. And a foul.
And credit Connecticut for that defensive attention to detail with her skill set. It's contagious, and that's what you want from your leader.
Peyton Samuels, the freshman, back in. Just 2 points tonight for UConn after scoring 14 against NC State. Arnold attacking. KK Arnold. The other freshmen have made the statement this evening.
Well, this has just been a tremendous evening and breakout games for the freshmen for the UConn Huskies. And look at the emotion after. You love to see it. Straight line drives to the bucket, finishing strong with contact. Slow rotation coming from Maryland.
Gino told the press she's going to get honored a lot.
You know what? It's not what he says, it's how he says it, right? Or it's how he says it, it's what he says.
A banked in 3 for Alexander. Samuels to Bueckers with 10. Paige Bueckers has had the big night. Paige Bueckers picked 4th in the Big Ten, a loaded league.
Yeah, a loaded league. Last year, 7 teams went to the NCAA tournament. A record 3 teams advanced to the Elite 8. And for the first time ever, It's always a teaching moment. Jakia Brown-Turner is the recipient of that earful there.
Off to Bueckers. Paige Bueckers is back. And Gino Auriemma says better than ever. Underneath.
But what UConn has been able to do well against Maryland's defense is spread the floor and attack, and there they go again.
Mika Mule. On the other end, a foul. Count it.
Again, they've turned Maryland in this early portion of the season, but she's attempted the most shots and the most free throws coming into this game as well.
Shade, what a nice delivery from Griffin. Griffin stepping in for Azzi Fudd.
That has been so good for Connecticut.
Ashley Shade with a breakout night. Double figure. She and Arnold have combined for 20. Now Shade with the basketball. Into the hands of Mule. Nika with a crossover. Nice dime to Griffin. And one.
I mean, that's just fun times.
Sellers with a give, but Brady attacked that. Another turnover.
Just the fight and the scrum from Connecticut all game long.
Gino Auriemma will call a substitution timeout. Enes Bencourt checks in, the sophomore from Portugal, for Mule. Well, after giving up 92 points, almost an exact opposite script tonight.
Almost half of that here, and then, you know, you've just seen UConn take every action away from Maryland. Especially with Sellers, they were really tight on her.
Ice Brady with an exclamation point. Pull-up three for Riley Nelson, a little bit off.
For Paige in a lot of ways, because she'll see a lot of familiar faces, but that's going to be a great contest against another. But the fact that she was able to come in and show it. 5 of 6 from the floor for the freshman.
Cheyenne Sellers.
Brenda Reese has always been able to find a way to get the job done. You saw them advance all the way to the Elite 8 last year with 9 new players on that squad. 7 new players on this one, 4 freshmen, 2 walk-ons, and a transfer.
The crowd showing their appreciation at Gampel. Paige Bueckers scores 24 to lead UConn past Maryland in a dominant performance.
Well, it was a solid defensive energy that got UConn this win over a tough Maryland team that played scrappy basketball.